We'll have much more on Super Bowl in the 6 p.m. Sportscast, but right now I want to welcome Mr. Bill Haffey to the studio. Bill is a real deal marathon man. You have completed how many?
68.
That's impressive, but what makes it really impressive is you've completed 68 marathons in how many period?
12 years.
68 marathons in 12 years. So you're averaging
Seven, about seven.
70 a year.
A year, yeah.
That's insane. Well, we'll get to, first of all, I mean, I don't mean to insult you, but that's a lot of marathon. Let's just, how'd you get into it?
Team and training is how I got into it. The Lymphoma and Leukemia and Lymphoma Society teaches people how to run for marathons. I'd never run in my life.
So your first one was at age 58?
58.
What was the time in that one?
4:41. And I walked the last 4 miles. I hit the wall, and it just slammed me in the face.
You've run 68. Have you ever not completed? Are you 68 known marathons?
Yes.
And you've run ultras?
I've run ultras too. I've got 12. I've finished 3 of them. I've finished 9 of the 12.
So you're 9 and 3 in ultras.
Yeah.
All right. So do you remember where's your best time come?
Houston, and it was in 2012. It was 3:36:34.
How much is your sport mental?
A lot. A lot, because your body eventually says no mas, and your mind has to say, I'm going to finish.
And so why are you able to do that where so many others are not?
Oh, I just think it's training. It's the ability to kind of get your mind straight and just not allow yourself to stop.
And yet you don't log a lot of miles per week.
I don't. I run about 20, 25 miles a week.
That seems like a light schedule.
It is for running, but I do a lot of weight work in the gym and high-intensity short workouts, and that really prepares my body. All
right, well, we're going to get to your story right here. We're going to throw up this graphic of, this is the 6 world major marathons of which you have completed, you've run 4 of them, correct?
4 of them, that's correct.
And so Tokyo is later this month?
Tokyo is in February, and then we finish in London in April.
All right, so you have Tokyo and London on your schedule. That'll be 69 and 70 in your career. And more importantly, you will have completed all 6 in an 18-month period.
Correct.
Which is significant. What? Because?
Because you earn the Everyday Champions Medallion for having done that. And I'm going to run Chicago again in October as a repeat, because then I'll have done all of them in the 18 months after I was 70.
Bill, it doesn't sound healthy to be doing that many marathons.
Oh, it is healthy when you're prepared.
So, I mean, I assume you never are out of shape, right? You're always...
Pretty much
you
so.
You can't go on a binge anywhere.
No.
When's the last time you ate at McDonald's?
I haven't eaten at McDonald's.
Don't ask me that question. All right, so it begs the question, why? And I think you have a pretty powerful story to tell.
Well, the reason is first of all, my genetics and family histories say I'm going to live a long life. I'm going to live to be 100. And I want that day to be a day of active celebration. I want to be running a race sometime around then, like Harriet.
You don't want Nurse Ratchet spooning you gruel. You want to be ambulatory.
Right.
More than ambulatory.
I want to be vibrant until the day I die.
All right. But to tell your story, first of all, you're a Coronado native. We should mention that. Or not a Coronado native, but
I live there.
You've lived there long enough to qualify for native status. You're from Brooklyn, right?
Yes.
All right. So in the Coronado Times, this is how I became aware of you. There's a great article back of September 2017 where you were back home and had a near-death experience. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we were having to celebrate my birthday dinner at the docks, and I got food poisoning, and I blew my esophagus off of my stomach. Spent the next 60 days in ICU. About 97 out of 100 people that got to die.
You could have passed.
Yeah.
So that near-death brush with death changed you a little bit.
It just made me realize that every day is really, really important. And I had children, and my wife, and I wanted to be with them as they grew up and as we grew old. And so I made a decision on my 50th birthday. I said, I'm going to be in better shape at 55 than I was at 50. And at 60, better than 55. My vehicle became team in training to run. My running is what's keeping me the way I am. And then I learned about weight work in the gym. I'd never worked in the gym before. And finally, how to eat right. My genetics say I'm going to have Alzheimer's like the rest of my family. this is an effort to avoid that.
Sorry. But you're running for more than, you're wearing the Team in Training 30-year anniversary shirt. So let's talk a little bit. Explain to people what Team in Training is and the leukemia and lymphomas. LLS.
LLS. The LLS group raises money for cancer research. Last year, there were 14 new drugs approved, and LLS funded the majority of those. In fact, they did 10 out of 12, not 14. Those drugs were meant for people with blood cancers. Now those drugs are being used for people with other cancers. They also fund the ability for people who can't afford to get that life-saving treatment to get that treatment. That's the way I like to live, giving back. Now, when you run alone. It's a lonely life. But when you run for LLS, you run with Team in Training that helps you learn. Right now, they're signing up people for the next big race in San Diego in June. Join it. It's a fabulous experience. Beyond that, they raise the money that gives people life.
And so we're going to show you your website, mycoolimpossible.com. You're not running, listen, I'm sure that you have certain personal pride in what you're able to do, but you're also raising money.
Correct.
And this is how people can help out. You've come up with the total 66 grand is what you're 1/3 of the way to 66 grand. Explain why 66,000 is an important number to you and how people can help.
The San Diego Marathon last year was my 66th marathon. I finished first in my age group, and I said, what's next? And what's next was getting that amount of money, $1,000 times the 66 races, for Team in Training. It's the third time I've worked with Team in Training, and that's an audacious number.
Who came up with the title of My Cool?
My Cool Impossible is a ripoff. I stole it from Eric Orton, who wrote a book called The Cool Impossible. And what he says at the end was, dream whatever you think you can't do, and then go and do it. That's the Cool Impossible.
And I think you brought up her name, but Harriet Thompson, she's certainly a 3-time cancer survivor. She left us at age 96, but she was running the rock and roll marathon. I don't know if we have pictures of her or not, but anyhow, she was running with Team in Training.
Oldest person to run a marathon and a half marathon.
So she sort of is my Cool Impossible, because I mean, she did the impossible.
That's right.
How well did you know her?
I didn't know her well, I just know about her. But I ran the races that she ran. And that's what I really love to do, run races with people who really run phenomenal. Ed Whitlock, a Canadian, I ran in Toronto to qualify for Boston. He was running to break the world record for 75-year-olds. He holds the world record for marathons all the way through when he was 85.
Hey, it is an honor to get to meet you.
Thank you.
69 in Tokyo, 70 in London, 71 here in San Diego. You will then be playing even par. You'll be 71 years of age with 71 marathons to your credit. That makes you an elite athlete. Tonight on the All Sports Report.